Alright, Shalom. I just wanted to do a quick video speaking about today's big event, this the solar eclipse that's about to happen over here in the States in a handful of hours now. Yeah, I've been meaning to do a video about it for a while because people have been asking me. I've had a couple of people ask me over the last 2 weeks now that people knew about this. So I wanted to give some commentary on this. So, first and foremost, I do want to say, um, I've been looking around on the internet the last couple of days just to see, the impressions of the average person, right? The average person, right? Average American, average Christian, other people around the world, voicing their opinions and, personal views about what they think's going to happen. And man, there's some wild theories that that people got out here, man. Which hopefully I'll address a couple of those today. Um, then I want to go over a little backstory as well, man, because I remember the last eclipse, right? It was in 2017. And I remember what I was doing the exact day that the eclipse happened, exactly as the eclipse happened, actually. I'll give it a little story behind that. So 7 years ago, right, 2017, I was 14 years old, right? Um, so I remember during the eclipse in 2017, I was on a live stream actually on, back then we used something called Google Hangouts. That's what we used to use to do a live stream to YouTube, is the app Google Hangouts. I don't even know if Hangouts even exist anymore today. I think Google did away with that, if I'm not mistaken. Or not many people are using that app anymore today, but it was a popular, way to contact people years ago, right? So I was on a stream with the loving Christian. Today he's known as King Lion. I believe Rock Upon him was also there. You should all know him, right? John, right? AKA the light in this world ministry or something like that. Um, oh, what is it? Gospel for the World Ministry is the name of one of his channels. And then my buddy Mark was there as well on stream with us. Which that guy, shout out to him if he's watching. I've been friends with him since we were like 8 or 9 years old. And still good buddies with him even to this day. But I remember we were on the stream. He was asking me, "Hey man, you want to come borrow my eclipse glasses so you can see it?" Because for context, he lived literally right behind me. Right, he literally lived the house behind me. Right, all jokes aside. Um, so I was like, I'm good, man. Right, I'm good. I don't. I'm not gonna go out and see it because hell, the whole scare now is, the news has been warning people over the last week. Some of these products they're buying on the stores, from the stores, I should say, are actually deliberately manufactured to not be, adequate to, protect your eyes from the sun, during this eclipse today, right? Some of these glasses, the solar eclipse glasses, some of them are professionally made by these companies that know what they're doing, but then other ones are just made by like Chinese companies to get a quick buck. They don't really care if it damages people's eyes. You know what I'm saying? Um, so that's a whole scare that's going on right now. Is people are not sure if their glasses are going to be able to protect them from the eclipse because it might be a Chinese knockoff. Just to get a couple extra dollars out of the people. It's sick to me, that some people out there will deliberately, on purpose for their own gain, deliberately put the health of other people at risk. But that's what's going on here, right? That's what's going on, today. But then there's dummies out here that believe that this is the kingdom on earth. But that's a different topic. I won't go off onto that. Um, yeah. So back to 2017, right? I remember during the eclipse, I was sitting there on a live stream with a couple of my buddies back then. And I remember how dark it got. I didn't go out and see the eclipse with my own eyes. Um, but I remember like say for instance, how like if the sun goes behind some dark rain clouds, right, it will block the the sunlight, right, make everything appear to be in the shade, right? That was basically what it was like, except a reasonable amount darker than that, right? But you could notice outside how the daylight, got dark. Again, it's definitely something weird, to experience. And apparently, the next one isn't coming across this area of the United States for the next, I believe they said like 20 years, 20 some years. It's going to be till the next eclipse is passing over this area. The whole big thing with this one is if you look at the path of this thing's taken over the country, basically, it goes over the 2017 one in the opposite direction and basically makes like an X shape, right, over the country. So you got all these fearmongers out here. Oh, it's the end of the world. You got literally dummies out here literally think that the world's gonna end today. Hell, it's 2012 all over again, basically, right? It's 2012 all over again. You got people, mass hysteria back then. I remember there's news stories in 2012, which I believe, what was I, 10 years old in 2012, right? Um, but man, hard to believe that, all these years passed since then already. But anyway, back to 2012. I remember there was hysteria, right? There was one news story that happened where this one lady was so convinced that the world was going to end in 2012 that, on the date that the world was supposedly going to end due to the Mayan calendar and, and that prediction. The woman went out, she kidnapped people and, and forced them to stay inside of like a bus, to like save them. Look it up, it's true, right? This is actually a story that happened, right? Somebody got so convinced that the world was going to end to save people. They literally went out and stole a school bus, and kidnapped people off the streets in order to save their lives, right? Oh man, that's yeah. What surprised me is something like that was to repeat itself today, right? I mean, come on, these people out here, losing their minds, man. Right. So again, with this whole eclipse, on one hand, I do agree that this is certainly a sign of the end times, because we definitely are in the end times, and Christ Yahushua, he literally has told people in the Bible, that in the end times there would be signs taking place, right? He said signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, right? Matter of fact, I'll even read a couple of those. So I agree that this eclipse is a sign of the end times and is a sign about, future judgments to come upon the United States. That's true. But that doesn't mean that there's going to be like some type of great event that happens right now, today, in, 24 hours or whatever, or even this week. Got literally these Christians out here on YouTube, like literally hundreds of different channels I've seen that are talking about, we got to be rapture ready, right? Rapture ready, on April 8th. We got to be rapture ready. The rapture of the church might happen tonight. I mean, it's remarkable to me. It's like, again, a lot of people fall for this bullshit because they don't really study their Bible, right? A lot of people don't study the Bible, so they will deliberately fall for the bullshit. That's what a lot of people, out here are doing. They're falling for these complete, bullshit that these false teachers are going on YouTube talking about, and that's what they're doing. So here's one in Luke chapter 21. I'll start at verse 25. It says, "And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, to stress the nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the sign of the Son of Man in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things shall begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws near." So, on one hand, it's true that the time that we're in, it's definitely the time of the end times, and God's showing his presence. He's making his presence known on the earth. Like, say for instance, right, there's a verse in the Apocrypha, I believe it's Second Ezra's the ninth chapter, starting at the top. It says, "When there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then you'll understand this is the very same time that the highest will begin to visit the world that he has created." Right, and that's what we're seeing. And here's a whole nother thing, right? Just a couple of days ago, I believe it was on the 4th or the 5th, there was a, what is it, 4.8 magnitude earthquake that happened over in New York. And that's wild. Damn, an earthquake in New York. Yeah, the news even said, that this is a event that nobody saw coming. And usually, like the people that study, the Earth and have all these metric systems, hooked up with the Earth and all that. Usually, when there's an earthquake, they'll know a little bit beforehand, so they can try to warn people, right? But this one happened without any warning signs, and I actually felt it too, right where I'm at, because I believe it hit like 5 different states, right? And the states that are near a certain area, it hit them, and I was in one of them, right? That it hit. It's a weird experience. Now, out of the 21 years that I've lived, I've never experienced a earthquake before. It's a weird. It's weird, right? It's hard to describe it if you never felt one for yourself, right? Um, but yeah, it basically in my area was only like 5 seconds, right? But you could feel that, man, right? You could definitely feel the earth moving. But they were saying, that's really, unheard of in this area, or, extremely rare, to happen around New York area. But again, it's like, I even hear people out in public say, man, it's like, and I'm talking about regular niggas that don't really know shit about nothing, right? Average people in the world. They'll even be like, damn, it feels like, there's something weird happening in the world. All these events happening, one after another. It's like, damn, something weird is actually taking place in the world. It's like, well, shit, wake up, smell the coffee, as the saying goes. Obviously, the stuff's taking place at a rapid rate. Why? Because, well, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, which his real name is Yahushai, which is an angry black man from the tribe of Judah, he's making his return very soon. Now, of course, nobody knows that day or that hour, but he gave warning signs that would tell people that it's getting close. And we're seeing those warning signs. Anybody that says otherwise is a dumbass. Dummies out here believe that happened all in 70 AD. What type of dumbass? How the hell could all the prophecies and all the end time signs been in 70 AD if we're seeing all those signs today? You know what I'm saying? It's like, wait, how the hell could Jesus be back and ruling the earth, aka full preterist worldview? How the hell could that be true if literally all the signs that Christ said leading to his second return are happening on earth today? I thought you guys said it all happened in 70 AD, so why the hell is it all happening today? I mean, come on. That's it's ridiculous, but these are the dumbos that are on this platform, YouTube. So again, going back to the eclipse, right? Um, the truth is, right, even though on one hand this is a sign of, future judgments to come, right, it's a sign of the times, as we saw Christ say that in the end times leading to his return, there would be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth. So yeah, it is a sign, but, let's not get overhyped here. It's not like, the world's going to end today or this week or something, right? It's not like Jesus Christ is going to be returning tonight. And people might hear me say that and they'll say, well, wait, but you said that nobody knows the day or the hour. So how can you be sure that he's not going to return tonight? Well, it's very simple, because Christ said that he's not coming back until a certain time period. Like, say, for instance, it is true that the Bible says nobody knows that day or that hour. But with that being said, it would be childish and just not wise to believe that Christ could return right now or at any moment. Like, say, for instance, one of the teachings in the church is there's a secret rapture, right? The churches, some of them hold to idea called a secret rapture. And what that basically means is that Jesus could return anytime out of the blue, right? Like in these movies, right? Like what Left Behind or something like that. All these other movies out there. They'll show people like on a plane or on ships or in cars, and then one moment they're there, the next minute, at a Thanos snap, they completely, disappear, right? That's what they show, and that's what some of these churches believe, right? That at one point out of the blue, right, Christ is going to basically like Thanos snap, half of the population out of existence, aka take them back to heaven, and they'll literally like disappear, here on the earth, and then the tribulation begins, right? They believe it literally could happen at any moment. It could happen 5 minutes from now. Could have happened last night. That's what they believe. It's a secret rapture, as in something that is going to take the world by surprise, and nobody's going to see it happen, right? Nobody's going to see it coming. It's just going to happen random out of the blue on a random ordinary day. Well, that doesn't add up with the Bible, because first of all, how could you say it's a secret rapture where people are not really going to realize it happened until the church is taken away? Well, that's not true, because the Bible says, Revelation 1 verse 7, he comes with clouds and every eye will see him, even they who pierced him. So how the hell is it going to be a secret rapture if the Bible says that every eye is going to see him? Right? Meaning everybody around this world is going to see Christ, Yahushai, when he makes his grand appearance. So again, how the hell can you say that this is like some type of like secret event that's going to happen if literally the Bible says every eye is going to witness him? So anyway, going back to my other statement, right? How my counter to people who say, well, wait, if nobody knows the day or the hour, but how could you be so sure he's not going to return with this eclipse tonight? Or how can you be so sure the rapture's not going to happen, during or soon after the eclipse? Well, it's very simple. Because Christ gives us signs, right? Christ said that he's not coming back until after a certain time period that we haven't experienced yet. And I'll prove it right here. And again, a lot of Christians don't like this verse. Well, to be honest, they don't really know about this verse either, because a lot of people in the church don't really read, right? A lot of people in the church only know Galatians, 3:28, John 3:16, a couple verses like that. That's really all most people know that go to church. But here's this is the bombshell right here. This blows the whole belief out of the water, right? Matthew 24, verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. So again, the Bible literally breaks it down in those couple of verses right there. It literally gives us a breakdown right there as to what to expect, right? Immediately after, not in the middle, not beforehand. That completely annihilates the whole, post-tribulation versus pre-tribulation rapture debate that people are having all over the internet, about some people saying, well, the rapture happens before the tribulation. Other people be like, well, the rapture happens in the middle of the tribulation. The other people be like, well, it's at the end of the tribulation. Well, the Bible makes it clear. At the end of the tribulation, immediately after. What's the word after mean? Literally after the event before was spoken about, right? And what's the event before? The tribulation. So immediately after the tribulation, meaning when the tribulation is over, then the Son of Man's going to be revealed. Meaning what? Then he's going to return. And you can't say, well, that's different from the rapture, because what people try to do is they'll say for instance, and again, I'm not putting this on every single church out there, because of course there's differences between the denominations, but I'm saying this is like a popular belief among churches, right? And that is some believe that that Christ is going to return once for the church, and then after a period of years of the tribulation, he's going to come back with his saints to judge the world and save those who repented during the tribulation, right? But there's a problem here in this chapter, and again, this is like one of my favorites here to cut this whole, false rapture ideology that the church has, and about when it's going to happen, right? This completely blows this whole belief out of the water. For one, it says after tribulation, then it says after the tribulation, Christ is going to return, and then after Christ's return, it says he's going to send his angels to gather together his elect from all over the world. So the rapture is not happening before Jesus makes his grand appearance where everyone sees him. So that blows the whole secret rapture out of the water then. Because how the hell could there be a secret rapture where the church is taken away if, in the context where Christ said he's going to return and then he's going to send his angels to gather together his believers? So how the hell is the church saying that he gathers the believers and then years later he actually makes his grand appearance to everybody? I mean, again, you just can't say that. And again, you can't say it's a secret rapture because the Bible says every eye is going to witness him. Revelation 1 verse 7. He comes with clouds and every eye will see him. So again, this whole belief is blown out of the water. But how does this correlate back to today's main event, right? The eclipse. Well, very simple, because there's idiots online who believe the rapture is going to happen tonight. There's idiots online that believe that Jesus Christ is going to return tonight. That's clearly not true. It's clearly not true. So again, let me say this. I'm willing to bet $1,000,000. I'm willing to put $1,000,000 on the line. Well, not that I have that money, but if I did have that money, I'm willing to bet $1,000,000 that today is going to come and go, and all these people making this bullshit prediction on the YouTube, they're all going to be here tomorrow, and then the vast majority of them, you won't hear a peep out of their mouth about their false predictions. It's like that's what I'm willing to predict at this point. I'm willing to bet money on this, right? That, hey, look, today's going to come and go. There's going to be no rapture. There's going to be no Jesus Christ return. There's going to be no end of the world. There's going to be no mass casualty, situation, dealing with the eclipse. It's like, come on. A lot of people are just hyping this up. Well, a lot of people are just doing it for the channel views, right? Because this topic gets a lot of views to their platform, right? So a lot of people are hyping this up because it gets a lot of traction to their channel. Bear with me a second. No, so that makes sense for a lot of people to be doing these urgent warning, the rapture's gonna happen tonight, or all these other bullshit events that they claim's gonna happen tonight. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Even as somebody from me who claims to be end time teacher, meaning what I specialize in is teaching the Bible and about the prophecies of the Bible, right? Um, so even I can sit here and say, well, hey, look, this whole eclipse, it's just like a regular eclipse. Sure, it's a sign of future judgments, but that doesn't mean that judgment's going to happen right now today. I mean, even I can sit there and say that, right? And I confess to be a teacher of the Bible, right? But these other dumbos on the internet are just a bunch of Jesus freaks, or just people that jumping on the bandwagon of gaining views off of this whole eclipse event. That's what a lot of these people seem to be doing. Bear with me a second. Let me see. So again, it's remarkable to me. It's just remarkable to me. It's just I really at a loss for words at this point. I truly am. I don't even know what the hell to say at this point, honestly, man. It's just so remarkable to me that people out there will fall for bullshit like this, believe all these dumb conspiracies, right? Like, say for instance, right? Oh, a whole nother thing that I heard, right? That people say that CERN, right? What are they in? Switzerland? They have like a hadron collider 17 miles long. Everybody should be familiar with CERN at this point. I mean, these guys have been around, doing this particle collision stuff for years and years. Hell, I remember even back since I was in school, like 8 or 9 years ago, man. People always been saying on September 23rd, there's going to be like some type of, mass event where, CERN opens up like some type of portals and deities from another world come through, right? That's like the conspiracies people have with, with this whole CERN bullshit, right? And again, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some shady things going on at CERN. Don't get me mistaken on that. I definitely believe that CERN, they're doing things behind the scenes out of the public's eye. I absolutely believe that. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to sit around and believe everything gullible people on the internet say about it. That would just be asinine. That would just be stupid to say that. That would just be retarded. So again, I like a good conspiracy as much as the next person, but even I, will sit there and say there's clearly some bullshit on the internet that, dumbasses believe, man. Like, say, for instance, right? Shit, I could sit there and talk flat earth with you all day, sure. But when you start talking bullshit about, oh, well, just to give an example, that 9/11 was like some type of, all the planes were not real. I mean, what type of dummy would believe bullshit like that? It's retarded. Um, Bear with me a second. But anyway, um, it's ridiculous to me, right? It's just absolutely preposterous to me. Some of the bullshit people believe on here. Oh, like let me give you an example, man. Like I was watching the other day. I was watching this channel. I've been a long time fan and subscriber of this channel called Top Fives. He's like a channel that does like paranormal content and countdowns. I've been watching him for like 9 years, right? Very good channel. Highly recommend checking this guy out. Channel name Top Fives. Um, and with that being said, I was watching a video the guy did the other day, and they were doing like a countdown of like conspiracies dealing with this whole Titanic, a ship being sunk, in 1912. What was that? I believe it was April 14th, 1912, if I'm not mistaken. Right, that was the history of when the Titanic sunk. But there's some bullshit conspiracies, man. I was just having a good laugh. I saw the video and I was like, well, I don't believe any of this nonsense people are saying to begin with about this whole event, that happened in 1912. But I'll just listen for the hell of it. I need a good laugh, you know what I'm saying? Because, hey, look, I believe the official story with Titanic. I have no reason to not believe that, right? Like again, I've seen all the movies, I've seen all the documentaries. Shit, I even have a book that people claim that predicted the event, but I might mention that later. Um, but again, I have no reason to believe that the official story on this was incorrect. It makes perfect logical sense. I mean, accidents happen all the time. Doesn't literally mean that every thing on the news or every world news story is fake to scare people. I mean, that's just stupid, right? It's just retarded to believe that. It's like, any rational, reasonable, logical person would be like, yeah, out of a world of 8 billion humans, obviously real, acts of violence or, tragic events happen every day. Obviously, that's just true. I mean, anybody that believes otherwise is just asinine and is just, doesn't really know what the hell they're talking about, right? And I'm pointing thumbs at some of these conspiracy dudes on the internet. Again, a lot of these dudes say some stupid shit. But anyway, back to the top 15s video, right? I was watching it, and I just had a really good laugh, at some of these nonsense theories that people are putting out there. The dummies believe that Titanic got taken down by UFOs, right? You got people out there that think that, like, literally, there's people out there that believe that there was, like time travelers involved. I mean, come on, these people are just way over their heads. They've been watching too much, damn Doctor Who and what's this guy, Doctor Strange from Marvel or whatever. I've been watching a whole bunch of, all this bullshit on TV. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's funny to me because these will be the same people talking about, oh, well, social media and, TV is all predictive programming. But then they'll take these ideas from the TV shows that are supposedly predictive programming and they'll use those as if they're like, can somewhat tie into real life theories. I mean, come on. Again, it's like you got to start using your brain at some point. You got to start using your brain. You can't just believe every conspiracy because a dummy on the internet says it. I mean, come on, that's asinine. And this is coming from a dude that believes the earth is flat. You know what I'm saying? So again, if I can sit here and boldly proclaim that the world's not a spinning globe, you should listen to me when I tell you that some of these theories on the internet are complete bullshit and shouldn't be listened to at all. Because again, unlike other people, I actually look into what I'm saying. Let me say this: I'm coming up on now, and very soon, right? Very soon, I'm gonna be 10 years in the truth, right? Very soon, ETT is gonna be 10 years in the truth, as in looking into the conspiracies, looking into the Bible stuff, and all stuff like that, right? Very soon, I'm closing in on 10 years of doing this, right? So, of course, there's people out there who have much longer than I have, looking into this information. But, I'm not just like some type of sucker that came up off the street, 4 weeks ago that came up with these theories. I've been around the block for a number of years, right? Um, I don't mean to flex, but I've had a number of years under my belt now that I've been looking into information like this. You know what I'm saying? So I have some type of credibility to my statements here. Unlike other dudes on the internet, that pop up in like 2020, right? Like some of these dudes out here, man. You see them on YouTube and say, "Oh, well, I've been looking into this since 2020, since 2020." Man, that's like yesterday, right? 2020 is like yesterday, man. But you've been looking into, New World Order conspiracy since 2020. Been looking into, Bible related topics or, government conspiracy then since 2020. It's like, dude, I mean, you're way behind the curve, right? You are behind the curve. You're beyond the curve. Inside joke, right? Shout out to anybody who knows what I'm making fun of. Which actually, that was a pretty good documentary. But you get what I'm saying. Um, so again, it's remarkable to me that people will be there believing all these gullible nonsense about these big theories that people got, but then when the day comes and goes and nothing happens, people just continue as usual. Like say for instance, these dumbos on YouTube right now today that are doing live streams as I speak, or have been over the last couple weeks, pumping out videos saying everybody must be prepared for April the 8th because Jesus is coming back or something big's gonna happen. And guess what? Today's gonna come and go. Nothing major is gonna happen. And then guess what? These guys who have been putting all this fear out for all these months and weeks, you're not gonna hear a peep out of these individuals. There's not gonna be a peep said out of these guys about anything they said. Their predictions are just gonna become false. Their believers in their channel are just going to continue watching what they put out, and it's just gonna you're just gonna like forget all about this, but they're gonna keep all the views though and new subscribers. That they will do, open heartedly, but admitting that they got something wrong, nobody will ever do that. Again, a lot of people, won't admit that they got deceived, right? A lot of people have a hard feeling or a hard time, admitting that they got tricked. But hell, I can admit that at one point I was deceived myself. At one point I was a gullible simp, just like the average niggas walking around out here. I myself was one of those people not long ago too. And I admit that, right? I admit that. Hey, the Bible says, that we all went astray from the womb, right? All of us were born into sin. All of us went astray from the womb. And I can admit that. You got dummies out here like this dumbass Perry Green, right? Oh, well, I'm saved, right? I'm perfect. I'm equal with Jesus Christ. And by the way, don't cut that clip up. I didn't say that I'm equal to Christ. Perry Green said he's equal with Christ. Right? Perry Green literally said on live stream, I am equal to Jesus Christ. Literally, he said that. Wait, what? you're equal with the Messiah. You're equal with the man who was sent from God to die for the sins of the world, aka Israel. You're equal to that man. But yet, this dummy Perry literally said, "Oh yeah, but I've only been studying the Bible since 2020." Oh man, oh man. Hell, hey, look, man. Even when I was 14, I had more Bible smarts than this guy Perry Green in his mid 20s. You know what I'm saying? And that's damn sad. That's damn sad, man. That even I at 14, right, I have more smarts dealing with the Bible than Perry Green has in his mid 20s. I mean, that's pathetic right there, man. That is just pathetic. But again, it's just remarkable to me. It's just remarkable. But people will believe, scumbag liar like that over me any day. For some, unknown reason. Again, I don't know. Well, let me give you an example, right? A few days ago, I got a comment from somebody who just watched my video, and I've never seen this cat, right? It's just somebody new, and the guy left a comment on the video and said, "A good video, Muslim." I was like, "Yeah, well, thanks for the compliment, but wait, good video, Muslim. Are you saying that you're a Muslim? Are you saying I'm a Muslim? But wait, if you're saying I am, well, what indicator did I give in the video that I believe in Islam?" I mean, seriously, what the hell? What did I say that would make you believe I am a Muslim? If you look at the channel, I'm literally a Hebrew Israelite, technically a Christian because I believe in who people call Christ. So, AKA, I technically would be a Christian, but I would call myself an Israelite because I go back to the 12 tribes, right? So again, it's like I honestly just don't get that. It's like how can you sit there and boldly claim that I believe in Islam, but yet you have like literally no idea like why you say that. That would be as stupid as me saying, hey, look, well, you're a Satanist. Then you're like, well, wait, why would ETT? Why would you call me a Satanist? It's like, well, I don't know, you're a Satanist. I mean, come on. It's like you went like that, right? But apparently, you can do the same to me without me getting mad about it. But if I do the same thing to you, you'll bitch and moan about it. I mean, come on, it's just remarkable to me. It's just absolutely preposterous, absolutely preposterous. But these are the dummies. These are the dumbos that are on this platform. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The nonsense that's going around out here, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But again, people like that drama and like all these nonsense theories, right? Again, it's very easy to trick a regular person, right? It's very easy to dupe the mind of a regular person, right? Like, let me give you an example. Like, a few weeks ago, I was on a live stream, in the black community. There was a dude on there that calls himself the Wolverine, right? He's like some type of like hard hitter, whatnot, like the cream of the crop, right? He's like the top dude on that community, right? So this dummy was telling me, "Hey, look, well, you are showing white ignorance by going around saying that the moon landings were fake, and that we should have distrust in government." Then I asked him, "Well, why do you believe the '69 moon landing happened?" This is his words, not mine. Here, I'm not making this up. This is what he told me, literally, and the whole panel. He said, "The fact that they say they go there, the fact they said they went there, that is sufficient proof for me. The evidence that they went there is because they said that they did." And he has the nerve to say that I'm gullible, right? I'm showing ignorance. I mean, come on. This is like a guy that claims to be like knowledgeable and actually looked into what he's saying. I mean, come on. You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. But these are the dumbos that are on here, man. The average, nigglets off the street, that don't really know anything about anything. They figure they're smart because they meet a community online that tells them they're smart. I mean, come on. This is. I mean, man, I needed a good laugh today, man, because these guys are just. It really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. Honestly does. And especially with this whole eclipse thing. Bear with me a second. Yeah, but dealing with the whole eclipse, it really pisses me off to see some of these bullshit theories that people have out here on YouTube land, man. It really does. It's like sure, on one hand, at least you know that there's weird things happening in the world, so at least you have the smarts to realize that. But you shouldn't go overboard thinking that literally every event in the world is staged and is faked in some way, shape, and form. I mean, that's when you cross over the delusional line. You're not no longer being a reasonable, intelligent person, but now you're just being a gullible idiot. And that's what a lot of these conspiracy theory channels and teachers and preachers and whatever bullshit else is on here on YouTube. That's the line that they've passed into now. Oh, that there is one dude. I forget the name of this camp. There's a whole new Israelite camp I just seen the other day. I was listening last night to a live stream from that brother from the Zealots of Israel channel, right? The Zealots of Israel. I was watching a live stream he did yesterday about the eclipse. He made very good points. But then they went into talking about this new YouTube channel. It's like a Hebrew Israelite group. I believe it's called AOW or something like that. I forget the name of this camp because I literally just seen these guys yesterday. Never before have I saw these guys except last night is when I first got exposed to this new group. So I don't know the name. I think it's called Rod of David or Rod of Israel. You can look them up. I believe that's the name, Rod of Israel or something like that. It's a whole brand new Israelite congregation. And literally, this guy, the leader of the camp, he did a video called The Last Supper, and he's on there literally showing off all of the food that they're having for this Passover supper. And literally 90% of the food on the table are unlawful meat. Got the damn, shrimp on there, you got bacon on there, you got bacon bits on there, you got the ham on there, you got oh man, it's you got catfish on there. You got salad with bacon bits in it. You got damn salad with shrimp in it. I mean, come on. The list could go on and on about the bullshit that this guy was serving his congregation at the table. I was thinking to myself, wow, wow. This group, this Rod of Israel group, which that's a strange name to call a congregation. I mean, damn, that doesn't make sense. But regardless of the name, right? It's just remarkable to me. So here it is. These guys are trying to set a good example for the people, but here it is. They're literally eating a dinner that would make a Catholic vomit with the amount of gluttony and food that they got there, right? Because again, I remember going to these church potlucks after service, right? Because again, I was born in the church, basically, right? I was when I was little, I used to go to a Sunday church. Then I went to Seventh Day Adventist church, right? Which is Seventh Day Adventist are more so in line with the Bible, but they're still way off from the goal, so to speak, right? They got some things right about it, but then they get other things wrong. Give you one example. Seventh Day Adventists understand that Jesus did not do away with the law, but Catholics believe that Jesus Christ totally did away with the law, so you don't gotta live by it. So that's one win for SDA Christians, but then they go off on other topics. But that's a different video for another time. But again, that's my background. When I was little, went to Catholic church, then the Seventh Day Adventist church, and then around 2016, I came to watch the Hebrew Israelite camps. So then I was like, well, you know what? These guys make a whole lot more sense than the Seventh Day Adventist church that I'm currently going to. So shit, I'm not gonna go to church anymore. I'm gonna watch these dudes, specifically GMS, and mainly GMS, right? I give other camps credit, but a lot of times the other camps go off on certain things. And don't get me wrong, GMS goes off too, but they're more so in line with the Bible compared to other camps. Like, say, for instance, right? If we compare all the Hebrew Israelite camps together, GMS is up here, and all the other One West camps are all down here, right? So GMS is superior to all these other camps. And again, this is coming from a guy who has years of experience of watching these groups, right? Again, these guys know who I am. Tahar mentioned me on a couple of his videos, right? Some of these other One West groups, like Ask Gorilla, you know about that guy ETT? Oh yeah, we know about that dude. They have negative things to say about me, but they know about me, right? But anyway, it's shit. I don't even remember what I was going off on before I mentioned the Israelite camps. But but damn, man, oh yeah, the Rod of Israel camp. They did a video where the leader was saying, I believe it was actually in the Last Supper video. He made a quote of it. He said, "We have like 8 more days." And what did he mean by that? Because 8 more days, apparently, from the time the video was made, there's 8 more days until today, the 8th, right, with the whole eclipse. So apparently, according to some of the people at watching the Zealots of Israel stream, they were saying on other videos of his, he said that basically the world was going to end on the 8th, right, with this whole eclipse was going to bring about like the end of the world. So the Last Supper video was basically the last supper before the world ended on the 8th. I mean, come on, these guys are just, getting unbelievable at this point, man. And I was joking around in the chat. I was like, damn, I got a whole new conspiracy. It's like maybe Vocab Malone, right, since he's, on a crusade for Hebrew Israelites over the last couple of years, maybe Vocab Malone paid these dudes to act out and do like a skit to make fun of Hebrew Israelites. Maybe that's true. Maybe that theory is true. I don't know. But I can also believe, on the other hand, that this group really is just a bunch of gullible simps that believe and practice what they're actually doing without being paid to do it. But again, both of those ideas are still on the table. Who the hell knows at this point? You know what I'm saying? So think about that. To get ready for the supposed end of the world on the 8th, this dude literally has his whole congregation. They had at least like 25 people in his congregation, maybe more. They had the whole congregation literally feast on unlawful food to get ready for the second return of Christ. I mean, come on. Wait a second. You know what I'd be willing to see, or what I would anticipate seeing, is, wait, how do you guys deal with, because again, they literally have all types of manners of unlawful food. It wouldn't surprise me if they got damn camel and damn rabbit and damn mice and mouse on that menu too that they got. Wouldn't surprise me. That nigga said, he literally said in a video that I will eat anything I want. So I guess mouse is on the menu. I guess humans on the menu, right? Oh man. But how do they deal with Isaiah 66 verse 17? It says, they who eat the mouse and the swine, they're going to get consumed together. Meaning what? When Christ returns, see, if you start a couple verses above, it's talking about Christ's second return. He's coming back, destroying. And then it says people who eat the pig and the mouse, they're going to get destroyed. How the hell do you guys get around that? Literally, they're stuffing your face with not only bacon, ham, and you got damn bacon bits for your salad. It's like, shit, that wasn't enough. I mean, damn, it's remarkable to me, but these are the dummies that you got on this platform, man. It's just remarkable to me. But again, people just seem to, people seem to just like the drama, basically, right? People just like the drama involved. That's why a lot of these videos, that they have people like camp bashing videos, right? Or Christian and Hebrew Israelite get into like big arguments on the street. Those videos get thousands upon thousands of views. Hell, even when I upload videos, say for instance, a couple of times I ran up on the Jehovah Witnesses on the street when I see them, right? Those videos will get damn 1,000 plus views, 1,500 views. Compared to this video that might likely get like, what, 100 views? Why? Because people like that drama. They like to see, people in some type of argument. Which it's really hard to have a debate with a Jehovah Witness because they don't do debates, right? They'll shut it down and literally pack up and leave, right? And just won't talk to you. So you got to make it look like you're just having a conversation. So like one time they were telling me when I was asking other Jehovah Witnesses about I believe we were talking about like the Edomites and salvation or hell or something like that, and I was asking them about, such and such verse. Well, how could you guys say God loves everybody if he said he hates Esau? That means he doesn't love everybody, right? They can't say, well, he originally loved them, but then Esau did something wrong, and then God, changed his mind. But you can't say that though, because if you read verse 11, right, Romans 9:11, it says that before the children being born, before they had the opportunity to do good or bad, God already chose this. So he's basically saying he hated Esau before he was born. So again, how the hell do you guys get around that? Then they shut it down or are like, well, we don't do debates, right? We can't really do debates with you, man. And then I was like, hey, well, I'm just asking you guys a question. I mean, again, you don't have to run. And then I pulled up, what is that scripture? I believe that's First Peter chapter 3 verse 15. It says, "Be ready always to answer a man when he asks you a reason of the faith of your belief." Right. So you're supposed to always answer someone's question when he asks you regarding your belief about the scriptures. So I cut him with that. What is that? Hebrews, I believe it's Hebrews 4:12. Right. The word of the Lord is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. Right. So again, these guys, they fell upon their sword. Inside joke. Right? They fell upon their own Bible basically. They got completely confounded. They have no business being out there. Again, they don't really know the verses. Like I got the verses in here, but these Christians on the street or Jehovah Witnesses on the street, they always got that damn iPad with them so they can look shit up. But Israelites like myself, who actually learn men and studied in what we say, like what 80% of the verses we quote, we got off the top of the head. Sure, we can go, Bible here, Bible there, Bible there, Bible there. Sure. But a lot of the information we got, already stored up through something called repetition, right? If you constantly go through information, it will eventually get engraved into your long term memory. Like sometimes people ask me, because again, I've been doing this since I was young, right? I've been doing this since I'm still young now, but still since I was younger, right? Because I started teaching on YouTube when I was 14 years old, right? Been in the truth since I was 12. Been in the know since I was 12, right? I knew about a lot of this information then, but I've taught since I was 14 on the internet, right? So, over the years, I've been able to build myself up. So where here it is at like 2021 or even younger, I was a worthy opponent against these people that are twice my age. Like once I was in a debate and they were like, "Well, why should we listen to you?" Like I believe this, I think it was like this guy called Ace Theo or something like that. Which hey, he got his ass daggered. I mean, Ace Theo was a damn moron, man. Ace Theo and then you know, um, his gullible flunkies on there, right? Repeat the bullshit he says, right? Just repeat the bullshit that he said. Guys like, well, there's no such thing as a spirit, right? Once you die, right? Once you actually physically die, that's it, right? Your spirit that basically doesn't exist. Wait, so what about all the times when we see Jesus Christ, Yahushai, raise people from the dead? He brings their spirit back into their body, right? Their soul back into the body from the grave. So how the hell you guys get around that? How the hell did Christ bring people from the dead back to life if their soul didn't exist anymore? They were just dead. Then they got to do some gymnastics to try to, like, mental gymnastics to try to get around that. Again, that guy's just, a gullible moron, but people go over there and try to, and interact with that guy. I believe that dude's in his 70s, right? That guy, dude looks like he's in his late 70s. Think about that. Think about how embarrassing that is. Dude's in his late 70s, got his ass kicked by a damn 21-year-old. Well, at the time, it was actually 20, right? Think about that. Think about how embarrassing that is, right? The dude is in his late 70s. 20-year-old guy calls into his live stream, cuts him to shreds on the theology. Damn, that's embarrassing right there. No wonder he had to delete the stream after, right? Because he got embarrassed. That was really funny. But a good verse about your age not really mattering. First of all, Jesus Christ, Yahushai, the ultimate example, he was in the temple teaching when he was 12. What is that? Luke chapter 2. You can read it. But it says, they were amazed and they were astonished at his understanding, right? And his answers to the questions that the great men were asking him. He had people in there, doctors, lawyers, priests, Pharisees, anything you could think of, right, of higher stature in society. They were in there talking to this guy, and they were amazed at his answers and his understanding of what he was talking about. Right, so again, he's an ultimate example to go by, absolutely. But another good verse is Psalms, what is that, 39 verse 5? It says, "For my age is as nothing before the Lord." Right, every man in his greatest estate, it's altogether vanity. Right, but that's a good verse, right? It says, "My age is as nothing before the Lord." Right, so that's a good verse because God's not looking at that, right? When He brings people up to use them as as say prophets or as speakers, He's not looking at how old they are because again, there's not a verse in the Bible that says you have to be such and such age in order to teach, right? You don't have to be a certain age in order to teach the Bible. Again, you can't find that in the Bible. So again, I don't want to make the video too long, but we'll go to an hour. If anybody made it this far in, go ahead and put hashtag 2017 just as a little throwback. We'll put that in there. Hashtag 2017 if anybody made it to the end of the video. I'll go on for a couple more minutes. I don't got to end it just yet. But again, it's just remarkable to me, all of the nonsense theories and bullshit that people believe about, what's going to happen tonight. Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen, which is true. I don't have any type of crystal ball I can look into, to see, tonight or whatever. But, I could just tell you that, hey, look, the eclipse is going to happen. People are going to be excited and happy about it. And the day's going to just end like that. Then tomorrow's going to roll around and it's going to be the same nonsense, just another day, as my buddy Mark says, right? As his slogan goes, right? More nonsense, just another day. That's basically what's going to happen, right? This day is going to come and go without any big deal happening. So again, the world's not going to end tonight. The rapture of the church is not going to happen. People are going to be disappointed, just like the crowd that came to watch the what was that? The miracle of the sun. If you're familiar with what I'm talking about, it was like in the beginning of like the 20th century. There was people were claiming that there's going to be like some type of great miracle that was going to involve the sun. It was called the miracle of the sun. Look it up on Wikipedia. I believe it happened in the 30s, but it might have been before that. But it was in the early 20th century, aka 1900s, right? So like 100 and some years ago, or around that time. The miracle of the sun event. A lot of people, if you do the research on it, a lot of people actually sold their homes and emptied their bank accounts and they wasted all their money on bullshit because they actually were convinced that Jesus Christ is going to return, with this miracle of the sun event, and he was going to save his believers and take them to heaven. And guess what? The day came, day went. And guess what? Now thousands of people are angry because now all those people, a lot of them, sold their homes, emptied their bank accounts, and sold all the prized possessions so they could get ready for this rapture. And guess what? Nothing happened. Now some say maybe there was a sign in the sun, and there apparently is a real photo on the internet going around that shows something weird happening in the sun. So I suppose that's up for speculation. But the point that I'm saying is the idea they had about there being a rapture on that day of the miracle of the sun event. That didn't happen. And people should have had the smarts to realize that that wasn't going to happen, right? But again, it's just remarkable. People never seem to learn, right? People never seem to learn. People are always just, looking for, the next thing, basically, right? People are always looking for the next thing to get hyped up about, right? So again, why it is true, this eclipse is certainly a sign of, the end times and about future judgments, coming down the line. That is certainly true. And definitely believe that this thing is a sign about times, hard times soon to come. I believe that. But again, that doesn't mean that the world's going to end today. That doesn't mean the rapture is going to happen today. Doesn't mean Christ is returning today. That's nonsense. That's ridiculous. But again, people are just gullible and just ignorant. That's how a lot of people seem to be out here, on this platform. I don't want to make this video too drawn out where we have officially passed an hour here. So I just wanted to put that out there, for today's, big event dealing with this whole eclipse. Um, so yeah, hope the video is edifying, and I'm gonna say shalom.